So, while I've got the any link on the transmitter, the any link here, which allows the DX9 to power to fly a plane with a Tactic SLT receiver in it, I thought we'd get this guy out, the Flyzone Beaver. So you see his lights working. Nice plane in its way. Sadly, I crashed this one. The first, I think it was on its maiden flight. I was flying it here, and somebody came, I didn't know who it was, somebody came up behind me and was standing behind me. I get easily distracted, and I wasn't sure who it was, and I couldn't hear if they said anything. I couldn't hear what they were saying, so I wanted to land the plane quickly, so I tried to land the plane too quickly, turned it too sharply over that hill, lost orientation, and put it down behind the hill. Most unfortunate. And that was, I think, its maiden flight. As I say, I was just trying to get it trimmed out and get the hang of it. And the main casualty.
Throttle cut off. Throttle cut on.
The main casualty was the undercarriage, which was I found the undercarriage a bit hard to put together in the first place. Even just assembling the plane straight off, the screws for assembling it seemed to be made out of pot metal, and trying to just screw them in, I broke them just trying to screw them in, just trying to screw them into the plastic fittings or whatever. I sheared the screws right off, so that was a pain. This was before I crashed it. This was just to try and put it together. So I ended up having to muck around, getting bits of broken. So there's the sun coming out strong. I had to get bits of broken screw out and whatever, and I'd sort of got that fixed, and then I crashed it. So then I had to. So now there's some glue here and there on the undercarriage, which is a bit unfortunate because I wouldn't mind putting the floats on this guy, but he's going to be a bit difficult to do with that glue. Can work around it. I've had to do it before with other planes. Now he has flaps.
Landing flaps.
Not massive deflection on them like some planes. That's full flap deflection.
Takeoff flaps.
But there and again, he really doesn't need them. Oh, and he has nice Tundra wheels, so when he has the wheels on, he works okay off a grass field. Shouldn't be a problem for him to work off a grass field. God, that sun's bright now. It's come up. It's a clear day. Should soon warm up. It's pretty darn chilly, but it was less than 10 degrees when I got here. It's August, so there's still heat in the sun. It'll warm up quickly once the sun's out.
Throttle cut off.
Let's see what we're doing. That's that cord from the any link. Got to be careful with that. If you pull that out, you'd have no control whatsoever.
Flaps up.
Don't really need the flaps, but whatever. He's where is he, relatively speaking? He's not as slow and stable as a Cub. Well, depends on the Cub, I suppose, but certainly not as the Parkzone Cub. He's a little more rocky, he's more inclined to rock and things, especially if there's a bit of wind around. And, but he is, relatively speaking, he's still a stable, slow flyer, I guess. High wing. But he doesn't have oodles, and he has I guess he has plenty of lift, really.
Time remaining, 6 minutes.
Yeah, he can fly pretty slowly. That's a slow pass. Let's go faster. He tends to go up when we go faster, but they said to fly him off the recommended batteries, an 1800 milliamp hour 3-cell. And I had a couple of 1800 milliamp hour 3-cells that were bought mainly for him. However, last time I tried to, this year, when I tried to fly him off one of those, I could barely get him off the ground, so I'm afraid those batteries have died. That was a rather short battery life, but Those batteries don't seem very viable anymore. You know, relative to things that I have,
Time remaining. 5.
this guy is definitely a bit more twitchy and unstable than cubs of comparable size, like the Parkzone Cub. On the other hand, he can fly slower than that Pilatus Porter, which is kind of weird. In real life, I doubt that's true. I don't know. I don't really know what the stall speed of either of them are. But the Pilatus Porter is not a plane that should. That's the multiplex Pilatus Porter that I have. It's not a plane that should have to fly fast, but it seems to want to. This guy, you can slow down quite a bit. I'm not putting flaps on either. If I put flaps on, I could slow him down even more. The lights are pretty in low light. That's full throttle. I'm not particularly inclined to fly planes at full throttle if I don't have to, but that was his full throttle. I missed what Jenny said there. Actually, hopefully he should get a little more time than the timer says, because I got a 2200 in him, and that timer was the original. I haven't changed it since it was set for the that timer was set for the 1800s, which is what he was supposed to fly with. Bird there. He does quite an elegant little loop. I've never put the floats on him. He comes with, I think he came with the floats. I know I have floats from him. Yes, I'm pretty sure they came with him in the box when I bought him. And I've never put them on. Not least, as I say, because I crashed him on the maiden, and then maybe I should have just put the floats on them, but I was focusing on repairing him, so I repaired the undercarriage, but I had to use some glue. Well, I think I may have used glue even in the assembly, because I had that trouble with the screws with the undercarriage not working. So the undercarriage, I know now for sure, is held on as...
3 minutes.
Is held on as... That's 3 minutes, she's saying. The undercarriage is held on by glue as much as it's held on by screws, which means to try and take it off and put floats on, is going to be a bit of a pain in the butt, because I would have to part that glue and then figure out how to attach the screw, the struts for the floats and everything. It would not be a simple job. You're supposed to, of course, just unscrew the undercarriage and be able to screw the floats on, but I've got a few planes that fly off floats, but the Beaver is such a classic float plane, it would be nice to put the floats on him. Although, given the way this one flies, I don't know if I'd be super comfortable trying to fly him off water. Well, I've seen people, there were people the last float fly, this weekend's float fly was supposed to be yesterday and it got cancelled because there were really gusty, high, stormy winds yesterday. You would not have wanted to be flying off water, and they really looked at the weather forecast, and it was saying 30-kilometre-hour winds with 50-kilometre-hour gusts or whatever, and there were gusts that could knock you over at times. I was out doing some shopping and things since the float fly got cancelled. Yeah, well, let's think about bringing this guy in, and let's not rush this time. That was how I crashed him.
Take off flaps.
Trying to bring him in too quickly, jerkily turning him, and losing orientation or whatever. Distraction. Distraction is never good. You want to be paying attention when you're flying a plane. There we go.
Flaps up.
He should be able to taxi fine, and we've got plenty of battery left, so we'll taxi him in. There we go.
Throttle cut on.
You gotta be careful how you pick him up, because you don't want to... It's nice that he's got the windows, but those windows are not very strong, so you don't want to pick him up by the windows. You'll break them. They're just thin plastic and whatever, so you could break the little foam things in the corner there, so you need to be picking him up. Make sure you're picking him up by the fuselage, not the windows. A popular plane, Flyzone Beaver. They make this version, and then they make another version in a sort of a... this is pretty classic sort of orange and black trim, and then they make another version in a sort of red and black trim. Exactly the same plane, I think it's just different trim. We flew for 6 minutes there, I'm sure he could easily fly for more than that. But, you know, that's okay for a demonstration flight, a handsome plane, and maybe I will try and put the floats on him at some point, but I think probably not this week.